Pharmacy Weekly Meeting and Cannabis Jam Session. Thanks for tuning in. And that was PK, folks. Producer PK. Background music provided by Steve.
Very good.
Thanks.
This is Mercy TV, Wednesday night meeting. The 16th.
Yep, I believe so.
Sounds right.
And here we are. So, I could rattle off all the news and information we have here, or we could get any questions, comments, curses, kudos from the crowd. See if we get any calls here during the middle of our show. So, yeah.
So I've been looking into starting my own garden, and I'm having a little bit of trouble siting it, and I'm unsure exactly like what the requirements are as far as keeping it out of the view of the public.
Yeah, you want to be out of public view. So if there's any buildings that are like two-story,
Yeah.
then an outdoor in your backyard would probably not fulfill that requirement.
Okay. I'm just wondering how, like,
If it's one story,
I
you'll
live
have to
out-
worry about your plants getting taller than the fence.
I live out on about 15 acres, and I'm just not sure, like, and there's a couple roads, like, does it mean they just have to be absolutely unseeable from the road?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay, so I gotta put up some sort of,
some barrier, yeah, to the
Barrier.
roadside, I guess, if it's
Okay.
possible.
yeah.
If the road is raised, it's
No,
not
it's-
level.
It's pretty I mean, it's pretty level. Pretty level, because there's like a ditch, but it's the same level.
Is there any apartments or anything that look
No,
like
no, this
it?
is out in the, like,
How high is the fence?
oh, there's not fence. Well, there's like electric fence, barbed wire and electric fence, because it's,
Oh, it's not solid.
no.
Oh,
There's some-
yeah.
Yeah, so I got it, like, and there's some areas that maybe, like, behind some trees from the road, because, I mean, it's pretty big, I'm just trying to figure out if, like, there's, like, a bunch of trees and you'd have to be, like, using a pair of binoculars. If that means if somebody had to, like, really look. 'Cause it's a
Yeah, it
little
has to
off.
be, it should be line of sight. There has to be what a reasonable person, it has to be, they can't, coming up to the fence and looking through a crack in it and seeing them is not the same as public view, where
Okay.
reasonable, if there's any effort that they have to go through,
Okay, that's just
kind of
the-
thing.
Okay.
But it would have to be the circumstances, somebody seeing it and then calling authority, and then authority. But as long as
Yeah.
the plants are legal to be there, then it's not really a concern. You've made a good faith effort. If someone complains, then
Yeah.
they
No.
can't just come and raid you on
No.
that.
Okay.
So don't be concerned from the standpoint of
Alright.
And
going
you're
to jail.
1,000 feet away from a school, too, huh?
I'm about 5 miles away from the school. I live way out.
Mhm.
Okay.
See, yeah, I mean, the most common, the cases where we heard was somebody was in the city, and they had it in their backyard, and the school was from the second floor of the school. You could see their backyard. That was definitely not going to work. Not only was it public view, it was in the view of the school, within 1,000 feet of a school, which is not necessarily a showstopper either. But with it's in a view of the kids, then definitely, yeah. If they could smell it, that'd probably be another issue for you. It's another issue for folks, particularly when you got neighbors nearby. But yeah, so that's the thumb is has to be out of public view. If it isn't public view, then someone can complain. That doesn't make it illegal, and they can bust your chops. You're no longer covered by OMA. Like, for example, you were over the limits, and even then, that's a gray area. They can only take the excess and charge you for the excess, etc. And then that's usable medicine. So the circumstances of if there's overzealous law enforcement coming after you, then they're probably not going to be too. They're not have an inability to count anyway, and so whether or not you're in limits, they'll probably just take all your stuff anyway and tell you it's federal law, and then you have to go get your stuff back because there's no penalty for screwing with people who are in compliance.
That's
Unfortunately. So yeah, just if you're going to do them in the backyard, and if the only thing between the road there is a wire fence, then yeah, you're going to want some a barrier there.
And that's even a bamboo.
okay. Yeah.
That might have more space between it than the slats, but something like I don't know if that'd be high enough too. You probably want something that's gonna.
That's 8 feet or at least 6 feet. Is the road looking down or is it?
No, you said it was at the same level.
So so it's on part. There's an area where the road looks down, but I've ruled that area out because. So there's another part of the property that does not have the road looking down. That's where it's like all, and there's some blocking terrain and stuff that I'm hoping I'll just have to get out and try and see where you.
Yeah, you'll have to drive up and down the road yourself and see if you can see it.
Yeah, I'll put some bright stuff out and see if I can see it through there.
The thing about it is that whatever you do, you want it to make sure it's high enough, because you don't want your plants growing over the top.
Yeah.
And yeah, there you are. So, anything else?
I'm kind of at the point where I don't even know what the questions I need answered are yet. I'm at such an early part of my of figuring out things that I'm still figuring out what I need to ask.
So sounds like you're gonna try to go outdoors
Yeah.
with outdoor grow. Which means you've only got a certain time frame
Yeah.
to go with. There's pros and cons.
So the major pro for me is the not running lights because they're.
Electricity, yeah. I still don't suppose you'll be watering them, really, letting the nature do its watering.
I have irrigation set up. I have some like drip irrigation, or I don't know what the right type of irrigation you'd want to use, if any. Yeah.
Well, you'll be watering several times during the week. You'll be feeding them food as well.
Yeah.
For outdoor?
Yeah. No, you're giving the plant the nutrition that it needs and the dirt's just gonna help. I dug a hole and I put rock wool and hydro balls in the hole, and then it goes into the dirt.
Yeah.
So at the beginning it's hydroponically because you're feeding it and watering it. Once the plant's established, you can cut back down on the water a little bit, but and then the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks of it is straight water. So you're flushing the plant out of all the fertilizers that you gave it over the 4, 6 months.
Okay, that makes sense. So I guess I kind of gotta get a. When do you start moving things outside, or is it like after when you expect the last freeze, or?
I put mine out in April.
Okay.
And that could be a little too soon. As long as you get it out before the 21st of June, the summer solstice.
Okay.
But if you get it out soon, you're getting a good root.
Yeah, give me a longer time to establish itself.
Yeah. And to grow through the rockwool hydro balls. And I even added 3 yards of garden mulch on top of the soil. And I may till it in this later in the fall.
Hope folks out there in Videoland are picking this up. Be sure to tune in to us on our YouTube channel. You can see our video capture and possibly pick up audio that we don't normally get through the live stream there. So let's see, it's in a growing outdoors type of situation. Normally folks would just put their seed in the ground or get your clones. In some cases folks will start the plant off indoors and start with a clone as opposed to seeds. That's a better way of making sure which kind of plant, the strain, the variety, as well as the gender. If you get a clone from a female, it's going to be a female. You don't have to worry about it like you do with seeds, even in those cases where they're guaranteed a female seed out of it. So you need to look at all those factors with.
It's coming in loud and clear.
Okay, we'll see how the outside video here. So with the outdoor grow, the starting off, getting them into the ground, whether you're not just you turn up the soil or you're able to pack it sufficiently to let the water aerate into the soil there. As PK was saying, you can use clay balls, you can do rock wool, you can do all the things that you do with hydro there, putting it in the soil. And then with your basic watering, collecting your rainwater, using that, or using your well water. Be sure to still test your pH levels on it, even though it's coming from a source that you think may not have any additives
the
to it.
well water during the summer when it gets lower, the depth of the water in the well, the pH does go up higher,
Mhm.
and you still, but that's just using
Sure.
some pH down.
Yeah, for those that are collecting it in a barrel as opposed to, even if it's rainwater, I suppose you should try to collect a sample of it and test it. Not that there's a lot you can do in that case, but if you're have an irrigation system or you have a collection of it, a barrel or something like that, you want to test the pH often before you put the food in or any other additives, because you don't want your food in there to mess with your pH reading then.
Well, your food changes everything too because of the concentrate.
So there's some basic pointers about getting started with the outdoor growing, particularly making sure it's out of basic public view. There's, of course, extenuating circumstances. Some folks in the power company come by and get up on a lift and can see down in there. Oh my God, what then? Well, I suppose if they feel duty bound, they could report it to the authorities, who then hopefully will check the address against the registry database and see that it's a legal garden and take no action. They may come out and let folks know. A neighbor goes up and trims their tree. That's a possible scenario. Again, that would be one where the police would come then and report this disturbance of the farce, if you will, and take appropriate action. Put up a barrier in that space then, if that's something that's going to be happening on a regular basis. Take a case by case.
Because at my place, I got apartments 2 blocks down from, and in this early spring, they can look into the garden.
It's no good.
Well, I had to put a high bamboo.
That's cute. Big bamboo is what we use in that case, huh? Tommy Chong would be proud. Let's see. Of course, with the outdoor, you've got the water, the light coming in. You've got your weather conditions to worry about. Animals, hopefully deer won't take a liking to coming through on your gardens there, because we found that they do enjoy munching on those. Of course, they munch on anything green, it seems like.
You have deer there,
Yeah.
so you would get a soup sock, an ivy soap, and cotton balls, keeping the cotton balls moist.
Yeah.
The ivory soap, keep the deer over.
I think I have some rolls of like 14-foot wire fencing
Oh, interesting. Okay.
that we have left over from putting up fence. But I think I can use that to.
Okay. So yeah, you're gonna have, excuse me, possible issues with those critters critters large and small. Being remote, I imagine that being out of public view, that you shouldn't have too many problems with the two-legged critters. That's when you want to keep the aroma smell down. And of course, loose lips sink ships, so internal security is always your first line of defense there.
Yeah.
But then, I don't know if you have, logic would dictate that you run a higher incidence of mites with your outdoor, but I don't know. Does that
No, because the natural bugs
also
take
come into play?
take
So,
care of, and the food that you're using can keep the bugs away too, if it has sea kelp.
It has what?
Sea kelp.
Oh, sea kelp. Okay, yeah. I'll look through that.
sea kelp. I've never heard of land kelp. I'm not sure why they need to make the distinction, but there it is. I'm sure that's around somewhere, land kelp. But yeah, sea kelp is the vital ingredient there. There's definitely a greater chance of molding in the rainy months, particularly coming down to the end of the cycle here, September, October. This last, the end of September was particularly wet, according to experienced growers, and a lot of them were having to harvest early to minimize the impact of molding on their crops.
Alright.
So I imagine that's probably more of an incidence with the outdoor than with indoor. However, I don't know if the common white milky mold that you see with indoor grows, if that's more or less prevalent outdoors.
You
By
get
contrast.
powdery mildew as well outdoors.
So there's no relief there.
Yeah.
It's just that with an indoor grow, you don't have those heavy rains that could come in and really mess with you, I
Could
guess.
you put up a makeshift greenhouse?
I might be able to put some stuff together.
Frosts, heavy rainfalls, as well as droughts. So the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away, I guess, with outdoor grows there, outdoor growing. However, a big advantage is, of course, the area, the space, the size. Boom, let them grow. Tall and wide as you can. You're going to have a April, May, June, July. You can get a nice, good, long cycle in there. When it's time to go, it's time to go. Not like when the sun starts to drop, they're going to start to bud. And only if you had an indoor situation could you control that situation. I don't know of too many strains that need more than that many months.
Yeah.
So that should be more of a benefit. I mean, I can't think that that's a problem, but there that is. What you're going to need, because this is your one grow for your year. You don't get the 2, 3, 4 grows from a indoor situation, so you're going to need that.
I'm harvesting still, and like I'm on my third harvest on the plants, because they would take the top ones off and work down the plant, because the bottom buds were mature enough as the top one was.
Okay, well, there you go. The PK method. 3 harvests in one season cycle there. But if you wanted a full, like I said, to fully control that,
Gotta go indoor.
I'm thinking. Again, you don't have the vagaries of the weather, too. But if you don't need specialized cannabis, if you're I don't know, that's hard to say. I don't think it's a higher incidence of hermaphrodite or your otherwise going from female to male. That may change when, I'm certain it'll change to a degree when hemp is legalized. But I think it's not going to be that big of a variable, big of a factor. I know that there's talk of zoning the industrial hemp with in contrast to the medical. I'm not sure how that would work. Trying to keep the gardens confidential is a big deal, and that would put that kind of out there so someone could see where the gardens are. Unscrupulous people may expose that for one reason or another. I know crooks would love a list of all the gardens to go steal from. One of the sheriffs, Sheriff Winters, I think, Washington County, he liked to publish addresses of gardens when he found out about them. Hoping somebody would go in and rob them and stuff. So he could then say, "See, this is the violence that those potheads bring. Told you, nothing but violence from this marijuana shit." Yeah, he's a big one on spinning stuff. I forget one of those shows, Weed Country, or one of the cable, one of the, gosh, what am I thinking? The pay-per-view, Encore, or one of those stations, I think, did one of those shows. And they had old Sheriff Winters on there, and he had to include some video of these guys rappelling down into a gardens and other fun things, and he took that opportunity to talk about the violence that's associated with them. And we've had shootings, you know, at these medical marijuana gardens. And somebody went and investigated it, and it turns out that, in point of fact, the shooting that occurred, where was two of them, both times it was by the police. One time it wasn't a medical marijuana garden, it was a cartel garden. The cops did the shooting. It was an unarmed worker guy who was there that they mowed down. And the other incident that he was referring to was the police, again, who accidentally discharged their weapon leading up to raiding the place. So that was the violence that came out of these medical marijuana people that he was alluding to. And unfortunately, we're going to see more and more propaganda, crapola, nonsense like that, and it's up to us to, you know, get the word out and every opportunity we can. One of the opportunities is trials for folks that are medical marijuana activists, and we're going to be having some coming up, I believe, in December, I believe, are some dates, and then March are some other trial dates. We'll get the information, particularly the courthouse, and all the necessary accoutrements. Mostly it's just dress neat, carry nothing into the courtroom. You don't want any weapons, you don't want any medicine in your pockets or bags of stuff. Don't try to bring in signage, don't wear t-shirts, and stuff like that. And just be there for the folks on trial. We just need to fill the courtroom. We don't really have to make statements or do protest or actions. Although if we can do anything outside the courtroom and get some media on it as well, that would be great. But we will keep folks posted on the dates, the action items before and around them, and other things like letters to the editor. In November here, we're going to have a chance to de-elect some of these judges and prosecuting attorneys who are engaged and involved with these persecutions. And we want to write letters to the editor leading up to that and let folks know that they can affect these upcoming trials, these upcoming action items against these folks now and in the future. As we get our medical marijuana facilities, as we talk about and eventually try to do legalization here in Oregon, we're going to need to have our officials, elected officials, be the kind that are going to stand up for us here in Oregon, stand up for our states' rights, and not roll over and follow the dictates of federal law out of convenience, if not greed and other fun little elements. So, folks, stay tuned to that, and we'll try to help out with all these issues, particularly in ending the war, so folks aren't worried about every little technicality involved with it. So, yeah, question.
Did you mention about the hearing about dispensaries?
The Rules Advisory Committee meeting that's happening October 18th, it's this Friday. I don't know how much folks are going to see these broadcasts and get word. Hopefully they've been following it on our website, mercycenters.org. Check out our events section. You can also sign up for our email list and stay in touch that way with things that are happening. But yeah, there's a Rules Advisory Committee meeting October 18th. It's Friday. It's 9 a.m. It's happening at the state capitol, hearing room F. So be there or tune into our website, mercycenters.org. Visit our, hit on the Mercy TV tab, and you can see all our capture of events like this, all our hearings, meetings, events, and what have you. Whatever our little magic eye can catch. We'll grab it and put it on the air for you, the Joe and Jane citizen, to hopefully inform, educate, and activate you to register, vote, and get everybody you know to do so also. And vote smart. Visit mercycenters.org for all the links to tell you how your legislator voted on Senate Bill 281, which added PTSD. There's some good news. We're going to see that implemented here January 1st, 2014. So folks, start talking with your doctor, start lining up your chart notes, prepare to go see a specialist. If after educating your doctor they won't sign, but try to move forward on that, as well as preparing for the medical marijuana facilities. Those are expected to go online March 2014. And we'll make sure we keep the draft rules posted. As we said, the next Rules Advisory Committee meeting on the MMFs this October 18th. They're expecting to have the rules drawn up and published by February 2014 so that folks can have a chance to review them and howl and scream and otherwise protest, although I don't think it'll do much good at that point. So watch these hearings. As I said, they're going to be capturing the video of these. The state is going to be recording them as well, and we will certainly let you know where the library is that those can be seen, in addition to the captures that we do. But mostly folks get involved, keep writing to your legislators, to the editor of your local newspapers. to city councils and so forth. Medford City Council is putting forth a ban on medical marijuana facilities before they're even allowed, before they're even in place, before they know what the rules are, for crying out loud. And it might take some legislative something legislative to prevent that. Okay, thank you for getting that. And on a national level, of course, we need to keep pounding away at the various elements, driving prohibition. We're not going to get a chance to affect the presidency here for until 2014, or is it 16? 16 is the next president. Thank you. But 2014, legislators are coming up for a vote, and we definitely want to hold every legislator running for office, every official at that time, every year. 2013, as I said, all these judges, all these prosecuting attorneys, any official, from dog catcher on up, today's dog catcher is tomorrow's mayor, city council person, or state senator, or representative, or even U.S. Congress person, representative. We need to get the kind of leaders up there who are going to hold any of these prohibitionist elements accountable. The drug czar's office, the DEA, agency after agency, wasting money. And what the insane part is that during this time of sequestering and government shutdown and everything, the DEA hasn't suffered at all. In fact, they've gained money. They got $3 billion during the 2012 fiscal session. They hired 10,000 people in 2012. That's the power of this outfit. And during this time of shutdown, the DEA, obscenely enough, is keeping going because they're critical to the health and safety and well-being of the American public. Now that's really crazy, folks. The DEA, which has killed more kids, more people than marijuana is going to keep going for the health, keep doing that for the health and safety of the people. That's just wrong. So we should definitely protest that and try to get some accountability, at least, to get some notice of that at some point, and then and only then where we're going to really see any effective change. As when President Obama came in, he rubber stamped the Republican choice for DEA head, and it's been nothing but death and destruction and waste ever since. The DEA under Obama has busted more people than was done under the Bush administration. They've wasted more money, spent $100 million more. My understanding is they're spending almost $100,000 a day just on medical marijuana crusade here. And you would think that during this tough times where everybody's being cut, where all these budgets are being manhandled and trimmed and everything, that the American people should rise up and hold this wasteful prohibitionist monster accountable and to take action. So that's something to work forward to here in 2013 election cycle, the 2014 with the legislators, and on into 2016, where we'll have another shot at trying to get a president that does what he says and says what he does, especially where the will of the people is concerned. And when it comes to cannabis prohibition, it is the will of the people. We're starting to see polls past the 50 percentile mark. Now we're seeing 55, 60% polling on legalization itself. And I had a conversation here today with one of the leaders of the movement, and was talking about the things that we can expect to see coming up here. We're going to see the legislature putting forth proposals for legalization. We're going to see groups putting forth initiatives for it to help spur the legislature on. And if they don't get something done, citizens, activists are going to take action and put something forth. And so it's going to be out there, and folks are going to have plenty of opportunity to, as I said, query every legislator, every official, everybody runs for office, every group that takes public money, and find out where they are on this prohibitionist gravy train. And if they're, riding that train, it's time to put a halt to it and kick them off. Make them all get real jobs where they have to actually do something, be productive, contribute to society, instead of being these parasites waging war, costing this country in a number of ways. We pay for it in the loss of good people and the waste of funding, and we pay for it in the businesses that we don't have, in the increased health and wealth that comes from cannabis-based industries in medicine and construction, in farming, in food, and on and on. How's our timing?
We got 48 minutes.
Taken up? Yeah, that's what I got about here. And so we've got about 10 more minutes of rambling here. We'll see if there's any more questions.
If I'm generally getting clones, will people want to get rid of them when they make them and have whoever's going to take them on take care of them through the winter, or?
Well, it depends. You'll have to network with it. There's no.
Yeah.
It's like medicine. You can't legally buy them. Your best bet, excuse me, is contributing to organizations, and that usually comes about because of that. We frequently get folks bringing their clones here, babies. Sometimes we gave, we arranged to get them clones, and when they had excess, they were there. Or there are folks that had extras and heard that we do that kind of thing, and they just, or they call around and say, hey, listen, I got a bunch, can I bring them here? Just drop them off, orphans. And this happens a lot, folks. You can have 18 immature plants in addition to your 6 mature plants. So folks will, start, or even more, assuming that it's not a plant or a start until it reaches a certain point, which is erroneous. But some folks will start 24 or more, and then they'll get 18 to the point where they've got roots, and it's an official plant by their definition. Now, I wouldn't want to go to court and test all that, but and when they've got, everybody's to the root, they'll keep the 18 best that have roots and get rid of the others, whatever state they're in, kind of thing. Or you get your 18 and they get past the 12 inches, and you'll take the 6 best, and the rest of them, you'll find good homes for them. Occasionally, and we haven't had it in a while, but we used to have somebody who would do whole batches of clones and bring them here, just because they, appreciate it. They get it, I guess. And when they needed clones, they would, but they encouraged others to do that, and in that they had a lot more variety coming around, available to them. So even folks who are quote set have something to gain by bringing clones to us. Other outfits will take them and sell them, and it's not usually the best for the community. You don't usually get back as much with that, with other situations. But they make sure they get their funding and stuff, and they keep operating, so I don't know who's the bad guy. We'll see. Who survives? Winner takes all. Winner's righteous. So yeah, that's the thing with getting access to the starts, or babies, or clones, or seedlings, as they're often referred to, even though they don't come from seeds per se. that's another same thing with seeds. If you wanted to try and get a hold of seeds, if for some reason that you preferred that, as somebody who's a cyclic, you know, you've got to wait for your next. So if you were gathering, you know, something to start with next season now, you'd probably want it in seed form, because a clone wouldn't do you a lot of good. You got to try and keep it alive and all this other stuff until you can go to summer.
probably
Just give me seeds, and then I can. I'll take my chances with it, but then I can control it, kind of thing. So
Yeah, it's alright.
what's the name of that tuna? So yeah, you get your 18. Actually, you'd start off with 24, and try to keep your the best 6 you'd let go to maturity, let them height. The others you could try to keep trim to under 12. But at a certain point, it would become near impossible.
If you move them somewhere where they're getting less light, would that help? Or it's just being out?
Well, less light, they'd start to bud.
Oh.
I don't know. That there's pros and cons to trying to do that. But at the same token, you know, one of your plants doesn't do too well, or something like that. It gets overly sick or something. You know, then you've got, you know, another one you can bring in line pretty quickly. So some folks will keep a batch on hand, get them up to their, you know, 12-inch limit, and then bring them here, find good homes for them, and start another clone. It's another thing that folks can do. Again, hope they might exchange it for something. Another teenager somebody has, move that into their garden, get rid of one of the mature ones. Put it to compost. Depending on where it is in its cycle, it could go into the buttering, oiling stuff.
Okay.
So, some ways you can manage those things. If you're part of a network like we are building, we have some folks that can only do indoor, small situation, and then there's folks that only have an outdoor, so they can only do this kind of thing. So one person has all the babies, and when they reach their 12-inch thing, they're getting out to other folks, to the outdoor gardens. And so these folks never have the babies. They don't have the space facility for it. This other person does, but they never have the mature ones and so forth. So everybody, you know, is expected to share, you know, equally, I guess, in that network and to make it work. So.
And the 12 inches is what defines a mature plant?
Yeah, 12 inches height and 12 inches in diameter.
Nothing about the actual
Right.
maturity of the plant?
I don't believe so. Was there any extra verbiage about flowering as well?
No, it was just 12 inches.
It's supposed to be flowering or height. Oh, and a height, I believe. When it was originally done, and some prohibitionists got a hold of it and changed an N to an or. And so technically it's interpreted as, the 12 inches heights is the official ruling, which is horticulturally ludicrous, and we've been protesting and trying to get that changed for quite some time, but that's the power of getting a bad law carved into stone, you know, especially when there's money attached to it. So, yeah, it's 12 inches. It makes no sense. But as I say, when something doesn't make sense, follow the money. Just like this whole war. Yeah. How can it keep going on when everybody knows it's a lie? Marijuana hasn't killed anybody, so how can they keep saying it's evil and dangerous and kills people? No, it doesn't. Why isn't that lie challenged at any level, you know? Like we said, it's insane that the DEA prohibition, which has killed countless. We don't even know the number because they keep, hiding the bodies and shit. And yet they can carry on this nonsense against cannabis, which hasn't killed anybody. They keep insisting it has no medical value whatsoever when it's turning out to be a positive miracle. We're getting reports from especially Europe that it's quite possibly a cure for cancer. That's insane.
Or patients down in Nevada.
Yeah. Other cases, all the little children that are cured, or aided, dramatically in their medical cannabis use, punished for doing so, for being so, and that's just wrong. And more people are seeing the cost, the actual dollar cost associated with that wrongness, and making changes. So we'll hope and keep advances, but only if you folks out there register, vote, and get everybody you know to do so also. Come on down to the Mercy Center and get your voter registration. Get a bunch. Get everybody you know signed up, and then get everybody you don't know. And pick up your Oregon Cannabis Connection, your Mercy newsletters, and other fine things here at the Mercy Weekly Meeting. Happens every Wednesday, 7 p.m. at 1745 Capitol Street Northeast. Give us a call at 503-363-4588, or come visit us Monday through Friday, noon to 6. Visit our website, mercycenters.org, for more. See you next time on Mercy TV. Thanks.
Thank you. You want to say anything before I turn it off, Glenn?
Yes, good night.
Good night. God bless you all, every single one of you.